Hello everyone, this is Albert here. Just wanting to experiment on doing a tutorial video. I'm not sure if I'll be doing these types of videos, but if you guys like them, I will continue them. Pretty much today, I'm going to show you a little nifty little program called Blender. That's right. If anyone who's not familiar with Blender, it is free. It's a free program. It's amazing program. It's, in my opinion, one of the most powerful free things you could ever get your hands on. It's a 3D program. You get to make pretty much anything you want. It's really cool. I think it had a bad rap before of not being user friendly and being hard to use, but that's completely it's an amazing program now. Is completely underestimated. To think of why it's not one of the leading software used in the industry. It kind of boggles me based on just what the amount of things you can accomplish with Blender is staggering. So not getting too much off topic here. I'm just gonna, I wanted to show, those who are not familiar with the program, I just wanted to show you, basically how to get around it, and just move about with relative ease, hopefully. So to get started, when you first start Blender, you get to the screen, and then the first thought comes to your mind is like, what is this? Why am I I mean, it's okay. Normally with other programs, you don't have a little startup screen like this. If you don't like for Blender to load this, it loads it by default. You could just select everything by pushing A, and then you can either hit delete on your keyboard or X, and then that deletes everything off the scene. And if you wanted to, say like you never want to see that startup screen again, I don't have too much preference for it, but I allow it to happen. But if it really bothers you, you can go to Save Startup File, click that, and then you have to click again Save Startup File. It'll have a little pop-up that comes up. You have to click that again. It has a little shortcut right here. It says Control U, and then that does the same thing. When you're maneuvering around Blender with selecting stuff, you might see those shortcuts like any other program. They'll show up. That actually reminds me to enable my keys when I press them. So let me enable that, and we'll get back on track. Alright guys, so I just had to enable that real quick. So any keys that I press, or any button on the mouse that I click, it'll automatically show up here on the left. So to get started, you want to know how to move around in the 3D viewport. So to rotate around, you click your middle mouse button, and then you drag, and then that moves you around like so. Okay, and so once you are able to do that, actually, let's add an object to make something look interesting here. To add an object, you hit Shift A, or instead of hitting Shift A, if you're uncomfortable with shortcuts, I'll be using shortcuts frequently because it's more convenient. But if you're starting out, it's more logical for you to click Add. It's up here, and you have your different things you can add here. So we're just going to add a cube, add it back there, and just rotate around. Okay, and so to pan, you hit Shift and middle mouse click, and that pans you around like so. And then if you want to zoom in and out, you scroll the mouse wheel. You can also do it by Control middle mouse button. As you can tell already, everything's pretty much done with middle mouse button, or when you're manipulating around the viewport. Okay, so we have that down. So what else? You want to be able to also manipulate vertices. Okay, so far we're in object mode. We want to manipulate vertices on whatever you're working on. So to do that, you need to get into edit mode. To get into edit mode, and what edit mode is just you want to edit your vertices. That's pretty much what that's all about, edit mode. You can get into edit mode by going down here where it says object mode. Click that, go down to edit mode. Boom, that puts you in edit mode. And then to right click to select anything in Blender, you have to right click it. You right click it, selects it. And if we tab back out of edit mode, you could tabbing also puts you into edit mode and vice versa. So you can think that could be an easy shortcut for you. And what was I going to say? Okay, to deselect, you could just push A. It just deselects or selects everything in your scene by pushing A. You can select objects by right-clicking it. In edit mode, when you're selecting vertices, you can select vertices by pushing by right-clicking them. And then, as you can see here, I was able to right-click multiple things at once. To select them, I mean, you're gonna have to be able to hold down Shift and then keep selecting other things that you want. Okay, so once you have that down, okay, that's pretty much selecting. Okay, so what else? Okay, over here you have what's called your properties panel. You could look down here. This is pretty much your object properties. You have your modifier. You add modifiers in here. This little circle thing here is your materials. You can add a material here. Here's your textures and particle systems, physics, and this is your world. Okay, and up here is your outliner, shows all the different things in your scene. You can hide it from the viewport if you want, from up there. That brings up another special point. I don't know if I have time to go through everything that I want to in 10 minutes. But okay, Shift A, we're going to add another object. Okay, you see it added at the same position, at the same size, because we selected the cube, and that's the default position, size, and rotation for the cube. Now, how do you know it's there? Well, you can look in the outliner, shows it there, gives it a different name, 0.001. To grab an object, you hit G to grab on the keyboard. G grabs it. You can move it around. Okay. So once you can do that, you can left click or enter to place it wherever you want. Okay, so once you can do that, and when you're moving an object, you could move it. Let's say you want to move it alongside one of the how do I say, along the axis without deviating away from the axis, constrained to the axis. So let's say. So you want to grab it, and then you want to hit X if you want to constrain to the X-axis, Y if you want to constrain to the Y-axis, or Z to constrain to the Z-axis. To select out of something that you're currently moving, you just right-click. So as you can see, Z is the blue, up and down like that. Y is the green, and X is the red axis. Okay, so you can do that. Very handy. You can also duplicate objects by selecting an object and Shift D to duplicate. Okay, you can also do constraining to an axis as well with that. Okay, rotating, I didn't get to that, but rotating is R, very simple. Rotating around the X axis, very handy if you want to do that. Or whatever axis, it's the same deal. I think I'm missing one. Rotate and grabbing, rotating, scale is the next one. S is the scale. Hit S, move your mouse around, and that you're able to scale. Okay, down here you have your timeline. You could just, if you're doing an animation, you scrub through your timeline there. What else? You have your toolbar here that gives you extra options here. Most commonly used is shading, flat or smooth. I don't think it would be that important on just a flat cube. But then if you want to hide it again, you put T, push T again to hide it, and then there's another panel that pops up over here if you push N, and that comes up right there. It gives you your pretty much your perspective view camera and focal length to change that if you wish. You could change that, and a bunch of different other things that we'll get to. That is if I'm doing more of these tutorials. And then another important thing is different view angles. If you want to do different view angles, you hit on the numpad 1 for front, 3 on the numpad for side view. If you want to jump into orthographic view, push 5 on the numpad. Top view, yeah, it's 7 on the numpad. Sometimes I forget this stuff, but all that stuff is on the numpad to change your views. You see it how quickly it jumps from top to side. Very handy. If you want to go back into perspective view, you hit 5 on the numpad, and there you go. That's how you do that. And then those people who like to see at least different perspectives here, you can split windows. Sorry, I didn't quite explain that. But there you see those little hash marks on the top right. Those little hash marks. You click that, left click it, and you drag, and that splits the window for you like magic, and that creates pretty much a duplicate window. After you do that, you can still manipulate it in the center there. All right. So once you're able to do that, you can move one, move the other, put one in orthographic on a side view or something. And I don't know if I went into edit mode, but if you want to manipulate vertices, tab into edit mode. Yeah, I think I went over that, right? Okay, yeah. So you can see, you could be working on something here, and then you can see it here on the other window. Very easy. Okay, what else? Real quick, I just want to show you some stuff new with cycles. If you're going to do something with Blender, I suggest you play around with cycles. Like, just go into cycles. That is pretty much where you want to be in Blender. It's amazing. You can render within viewport. I believe, I'm not sure if you could also do with internal Blender render now, but with cycles, you hit render viewport shading right there. I don't have a light. Let's go ahead and add a light. Go in here, Shift A. Where's it at? Lamp. Okay, there you go. You could do one of these lights or something here. Okay, jump back into rendered, and there you go. I think that's pretty much all the time I have for this video. If you want to check back in for another tutorial, please do so. If you guys like these kind of videos, let me know. Leave in the comments, and yeah, I would love to impart some knowledge. I'm starting now, getting the hang of everything that is Blender, and it is super exciting, this program, and it's free. You don't have to pay anything. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Bye.